John Bassett, Wyatt Bassett, and myself, we're often accused or noted that we're awfully passionate about the furniture industry, and maybe as passionate as anybody in the industry. We don't understand people that aren't as passionate.
When I first came 35, 40 years ago, I thought I knew everything in the market. I think I did. If somebody came in and they wanted a table with a wing on it, they did this, I could figure out who made it. Now it's tougher because of China and there's so much volume, so I can't do that anymore.
I realized that my future was going to be relegated to just being in that factory, so I took a part-time job working for a retailer called RB Furniture. And at that time they had 10 stores. And I worked part-time in the warehouse there. And eventually I gave up my job at the furniture factory and became a truck driver and then a warehouse manager and a salesman and a store manager. And I worked for that company for 17 years and eventually became the executive vice president, and we had 77 stores.
And there were two fellows within the organization, Don Hunziger, who's a furniture background now, and Dick Allen, who was a financial man, and they needed somebody that knew a little bit about the marketing side of the business. So they asked me to join them, and it was quite an undertaking to do because every company I'd worked for was a large one that had a lot of financial background and security there, and all of a sudden we were going to buy these three companies and have very little capital in there and a lot of debt, but it turned out to be a great move. It was a situation where the company grew from, we had those three companies, and we ended up with about a dozen different companies, and Ladd Furniture was formed, and that became one of the leading companies in the business. So it was a great background for me, and I enjoyed it very much.
Hooker Furniture was founded 89 years ago in 1924. Clyde Hooker Sr., who was 28 years old at the time, had been working at Bassett Furniture, had actually married one of the founder's daughters. The Bassett family allowed Clyde to attach the Bassett name to his company to give it credibility. So for the first 50 years or so that Hooker was in existence, it was called Hooker Bassett, and that gave a new startup company credibility.
We had a few little waterbed stores, and it grew over time. And in the early 90s, the waterbed business started to implode, and we converted to City Furniture. We now have 26 stores, 16 City Furniture, and 10, soon to be 11 Ashley Furniture home stores. We've seen a lot of changes.